today we'll be talking about our girls. Adolescent girls have the right to a safe, educated, and healthy life, not only during these critical formative years, but also as they mature into women. If effectively supported during their adolescent years, girls have the potential to change the world, both as the empowered girls of today and as the tomorrow's workers, mothers, entrepreneurs, mentors, household heads, and political leaders.
Yes, of course, an investment in realizing the power of adolescent girls upholds their rights today and promises a more equitable and prosperous future, one in which half of humanity is an equal partner in solving the problems of climate change, political conflict, economic growth, disease prevention, and global sustainability.
The continuous attacks on the Nigerian girls, kidnapping, forceful marriage, violence, stereotypes, among others, have been on the increase, and it seems much have not been done to curb all this.
Yes, in today's edition of Rise and Shine, we'll look at the girl child, their role in society, and how they can fit in properly in the social strata. We are joined by Mrs. Taiwo Alalade, the coordinator, IPWAN, Oyo State. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm happy to be here again.
All right, and you can also be part of this program as we go ahead with the discussion today on the girl child, their role in the society, and how they can fit in properly in the social strata. The numbers to call are 0815 192 5925 and 0818 992 5925. You can also listen to us via our website by going to our website www.ibr925fm.com www.ibr925fm.com. Welcome once again, Mrs. Alalade.
Thank you.
Well, why are the girls always under attack?
Girls are naturally vulnerable. West African setting and everywhere anyway. Girls are described as women generally, the female gender, described as weaker vessel. They say it's the gender is a weaker vessel. And when you say weaker vessel, it may not mean strength. It may be in terms of emotions. And I find out that there's a selfish nature of man generally, not just the male gender, the female and the male gender. And because the nature of man has the tendency to exhibit selfishness.
Okay.
Now, I find out that men take advantage of the weakness, the so-called weakness of the girls.
Well, the thing is it only men that take these advantages? Because we have some other women taking advantages of also some other vulnerable
That's why I
young
said
child.
the male, the man, the context, when you talk of human beings, you say man generally, as a selfish nature. I can decide to take advantage of anybody. It's a choice. I can decide to take advantage of them because of my selfish interest. As close as my twin sister is with me, to me, I can decide to take advantage of her. So we find some women taking advantage of
The other woman.
We have men taking advantage of women, and we have women taking advantage of men. So it's like that. But women, because we attacked weaker, we are vulnerable.
So that's the reason.
The truth. Right? That's why we find out that the women are endangered, and girls are endangered. I was telling my husband how close we were in FUTA, Federal University of Technology at Akure. How close we were to boys. A friend of mine studied mechanical engineering, Biodun Akimushire then. She was the only girl out of 40 students. 39 boys, 1 girl. So tell me, how should we not relate with boys? She was pampered. They would do assignments for her. She was very good. At times they will leave her to do some things because they know they will get the best out of her. But do you know, as we were discussing, my sister said, I don't think I will encourage my girls to be so close to boys as we were then. We were 8 girls in a class, about 20 boys. There were 6 girls in our own class, and they had about 30 something boys. So can you imagine? So she said, I don't think I will encourage my girls to do that. I said, why not? She said, things are different now. We could do anything with the guys. I mean, you could trust them. I can remember when my husband came to meet me. He was somehow new to me. I had friends, and I could call like 2 of them. There was even one that was Kenny. I said, Kenny, could you help me out? This is what I know about this guy.
You could go to them for support.
Yes, because I knew he wasn't interested in me maritally. All he wanted was my well-being. And he could go to extra lengths to defend me. We served in the same states eventually. And my husband came there and saw that. And I told him, even when you came to me, do you know I spoke with him? He said, yes, he's a good man. But now, can our girls do that? I don't think so. I can't even really vouch for the boys this time. Because the internet is not helping. Advertisements, they want to advertise close up. You see the woman half naked. Then you wonder the correlation between close up, toothpaste, and half nakedness.
Well, I think what really informed this is because that is now going to the business side now. If you look at advertisements, just like you said, we have women, they are portrayed as sexual objects, just the way we see them. The thing is to appeal to the psychology of those who imagine they are trying to advertise smoking, or cigarettes. Then you find they believe that an average man thinks about women. An average man who drinks will definitely, to some extent, womanize or will like women to some extent. I think this is the reason they are using all these things. So is that way we can suggest to them that, oh, do not make use of women? Because this is based on psychological reasons.
It's another form of abuse.
But hold on, before you ask the question, is this an issue of not using the women or portraying them in the right light?
They should portray them in the right light. Portraying them the way you have just explained is another form of abuse.
But they call it appeal, sexual appeal. That's a way of appealing to the customers to make ends meet, to derive their own profits.
I get you. That's taking advantage of the female gender. Why don't you use the men as sexual appeal to? You can. But they won't. They won't. So I pity these girls of these days. I just watch my students and I listen to their discussion. I see them relate with boys. I admire them. But when I feel the handshake is going beyond the elbow, I just tell them, this is no longer LD.
Do not go there.
But if they can have very healthy relationships, oh, I spent a year in an office. See yourself and Opeyemi now. Nice relationship. I admire you people. I was in an office with a man, Mr. Babajide, at Maverick College. You may be listening, or someone will be listening, to tell him I enjoyed the relationship.
What made you enjoy the relationship?
He will come and say, Mrs. Salalade, can you help me out? Something happened today between my husband and my wife and I. Can you please put me through? Can you please put me through? And I will say the same thing. And he will say, oh, what do you feel about what our bosses are doing? Can we analyze? Oh, I enjoyed the relationship. I could get home and tell my husband, Mr. Babajide and I discussed this today. What can you say about it too? He could get home to tell his wife. The first time I met his wife, it was as if we had known each other before.
Well, let's go into details. Now, since the day a child comes to life and the gender is the female transgender. She comes the girl child comes forth.
Okay.
That's the very first day trouble starts with her.
Mm.
It's risky to nowadays. I watched a program and the lady in question wanted to release a book. Apparently she has gone through abuse. She's been abused.
Okay.
Starting from when her uncle would, take the mom would leave her in the hands of her uncle to take care of her, probably, help her have a bath and so on and so forth. And then the uncle would do things he shouldn't do with the girl.
With a girl.
And then she wanted to tell her mother. But the mother would just be like, she's busy and all that, and then she goes away. And then that continued. While she got into the institution, she was raped twice. Still on this issue of abuse. Then she wanted to release a book. And then she said she has to tell her mother before she would find out in that book. So you can imagine the trauma she had been through. Now, coming back, in the newspapers this morning, it was reported that our Telia raped and impregnated his own 15-year-old niece. Yes, it was reported in the paper this morning that...
An Otelia?
Yes, raped...
And he has the opportunity of getting girls that are willing.
His own niece.
So how could...
So now, the issue of abuse is beyond, from the community. It starts from the house now, from the home now.
Yeah.
So what do you think is actually responsible for all these challenges facing the girl child?
It has always been. Like I said, it has always been. But the only thing is that it's getting worse. The moral decadence is so much now. And the rate at which it's getting decayed the rate is increasing by the day. So, there are many factors that can be responsible. Carelessness on the part of the mother.
Mm-hmm.
I have people my children call uncle. And I watch them. I trust them. Not that I don't trust them. Like, there was a time I was calling a guy. I had not seen him in church for some time. We are members of the choir together. I said, "Oh, I've not seen you. How are you?" Then he told me he went for an entrance exam. He wants to pursue something. And I said, "Oh, we have all missed you." And my daughter said, "Oh, is that Uncle Fikayo? Tell him I miss him." And I said, "Your friend said she misses you." She said it without, and I appreciate it. But I won't just
let that
go without me watching and see. Does it go beyond just missing? Or as a girl, you're getting interested already. Don't say my child cannot do that. Never say never.
Okay, now let's go to the issue of S.A. Oruru, the Babington Macaulay Junior Seminary, as well as the
Chibok girls.
The Chibok girls.
Okay.
So, what is your view, starting from S.A. Oruru's saga? What is your view about the whole issue?
Let me start with about
Babington
Macaulay Seminary. For them to have gotten the girls, they have an insider that gave them the information.
They have an insider.
Yeah, how could they have known the rooms or the
those
dormitories?
Who abducted these girls
have an insider that provided the information. I won't just go into a hostel and pick those specific girls without me knowing where they are. I don't know what form it took, but they actually have an insider. And these ones, I just believe they're interested in money. I learned they started with 10 million, now they're on 2 million.
200 million.
200.
Million.
Really? So they are increasing it, not even coming down. Interesting. Now, those ones are interested in money. I just hope the girls come back the same.
They are back.
The girls are back.
They are back.
Exactly. It's actually in the news that
They
they
are
got
back.
them back.
Today?
Yesterday.
On Saturday.
Yesterday.
Is it Saturday or something? They are back.
Wonderful. Thank God they are back. But did they get the money?
No,
But they were able to rescue them.
absolutely.
Thank God they did that. But they were interested in money. But I hope the girls returned untouched.
Well, that has not really been established.
Yeah, they won't. They may not want to. They may want to protect the girls, to protect the parents, which is very good. But I hope the parents will come down to the level of the girls to actually interview them and find out
What actually happened?
what
Why they were.
happened, why they were there. Then the issue of the cheaper girls, this issue is dragging. We are 2 years into it now. Like I said, never say never. They can be recovered. They can be recovered. Miracles still happen. But these girls, they may not even want to come back. They may be ashamed. If they were actually dealt with in a bad way, and if they were treated well, they may not want to come back. Because they may enjoy that place. And you know, like we are made to understand that they are staying with guys. And these guys, what if these girls are still fragile, their minds are still very, very flexible. They can work on them. They can be easily brainwashed. And the guys can be even, you can find some of the guys that can be sincere with them. This one, I won't let her go. And the girl may feel, oh, you think I will spend so long with this guy and will want to leave you.
Okay, now that really brings me to this question. Do you really think enough is really been done to promote zero tolerance against physical, mental, and sexual violence in Nigeria?
No, we've not done enough. But people are trying. I've had a number of friends. Mrs. Chinyere, she's supposed to be here with me. Mrs. Chinyere is trying. I have Yemi Dabiri, she's trying. We have Pastor Maya Kunriofe, she's also trying. These are women. I don't know the men, but I don't want to believe there are not men that are also trying. People are doing it, but let's go out and do it. Let's educate the guys. Like I say, tell my son, don't raise your hand against your sister. If you do that, get to the university, let your classmate that is a lady offend you. You end up beating her up with the rate at which you are beating your sister. And he had to stop. He stopped consciously. Now he will tell me, Mommy, talk to her, and I will deal with her. Not necessarily beating, but by the time I finish with her, she will say sorry to her brother. Now, he is getting out of it, and the girl is realizing, don't take advantage of your brother. Don't think because he's a quiet boy, you can take an advantage of it. And I said, if you beat your classmates, you will end up beating your wife. And do you know, it depends on what they see. I was bold enough to tell him, have you ever seen your dad beat me before? He was looking at me like this. He said, no. Then why did you get an idea that you have to beat your sister before she obeys you? And you know, as if the dad was watching us when we were talking. When he wanted to talk to him too, he said, have I ever raised my hand against your mom? He said, no. He said, no. So that's the precedence for you to follow. I was happy. Not as if I don't annoy him. But when I annoy, he told my son, when your mom annoys me, I just keep quiet. That's a strength. But every boy can have that. And for those that can pray, pray for your sons. Those that are kidnapping the girls are not females, are they? Maybe they are using some females to get information. Fine. But the females are not bold enough. They may even be ashamed to come into the open. These guys are the ones carrying out the work.
But we have some females that are really, they are really dog-minded. They're hard-hearted, and they can actually do this. We see in the movies the way they portray the ladies when they go to battlefronts, when they go to, the lead gang robbery and all that.
Yeah.
So we can't dispute the fact that we have strong-minded, stone-hearted ladies as well.
Some of them are like that. But some of them, to be fair to them, some of them came out like that as a result of their experiences. Maybe their fathers battered their mothers. Maybe their mothers took advantage of their fathers, and the mothers made them feel I'm sorry to say in Yoruba, ọkùnrin ò ṣe gbójú gbọ́rọ̀ fún wọn. Some mothers will say that. Don't take any shit from any man.
Still listening to Impact Business Radio, IB on its 2.5 FM, and we are looking at the girl child, their role in society, how they can actually fit into the social strata, business-wise, educational-wise, and all other stratum. We actually asked Nigerians' view about today's discussion that we're having on Rise and Shine this morning, and this is what they had to say.
Anyway, even the parents, they are not doing anything to protect. I actually believe their parents are not even at home. They are no longer at home to take care of these kids. And they leave them to the mercy of their schools. You see a whole lot of things happening here and there. And the first thing you'll find out is, where is your mother? Where is your father? Some of them cannot even give account of where they are. So guess if the parents can protect their child, if the government can do something to protect them, then I think it will alleviate their suffering, and also it will at least bring, if not bring to a halt, it will reduce the rate at which all the crimes and violences are against female children occurs.
You're still listening to Impact Business Radio, IB on 92.5 FM. And then we've been talking about the challenges the girl child faces, particularly here in Nigeria. The challenges of the girl child. We've been talking about how they've been, the gender bias about them, the danger they face, and then they're beginning to become endangered species. They are becoming endangered. They are no longer safe. That's the perception of many people out there. And we are joined in the studio this morning still by Mrs. Taiwo Alalade. We've been talking about the challenges the girl child faces.
Now let's look at it from this perspective. Okay, do you think, how can we consistently implement social, economic, and policy mechanisms to combat child marriage and female genital mutilation? Those are two different things. But let us look at it. The child marriage.
The early child marriage.
The early child marriage. What is your view concerning this? Socially, economically, and the policy mechanisms.
The early girl child marriage. I believe, it's actually mutilating the girl herself. You don't give the girl a choice. I call it bundling the girl into the man's house. He doesn't have a will at that time. You just tell them. Many times they brainwash the girls, except for the very ones that are lucky and they are so intelligent and they can run away.
Running away, do you not think that is another, it could lead to another hazard?
It's cool. I pray they don't run into wrong hands. But at times, some of them are lucky to find people that will take care of them and tell them, you are supposed to be in school. I'll do all I can. I'll take her as my daughter, and sincerely they will. But that's rare. But telling a girl to get married as of her will for your own gains, the parents actually collect money most times. From the bride price is always high. There's a lady I live in now. I said the mother must have told her, she's an Igbo lady. You live with a Yoruba person. Be careful. I said, I have sensed that. She went home and she came back and she became a totally changed person. I was trying to make her feel comfortable. Then the person I was discussing with told me, how old do you think her mother was when she got married? He said she told me she wasn't 20. Now you can see that the mother, how old can you think she is now? She's not even old enough to let the daughter realize, oh, you are far away from home. Your neighbors are your friends. Your neighbors are your family members. Those are the things our parents tell us that make us feel comfortable where we are. But a girl going out and you're telling her as they are going, people are wicked, oh. Watch them. You're an Igbo girl. You're far away from home. You have to be careful. Don't mingle with them. You will bad people are terrible. This is the person that was ill yesterday that had to send for somebody from outside to come and pick her with her car. I just looked at her. She said I should come and repack so that she could go. As I just looked at her. You didn't call me. But I just felt she didn't need to go through that trouble. I could do that, which I was doing before. So a girl child going into marriage is faced with something she cannot undo. When her daughter becomes a woman, she is also a young mother. A 50-something-year-old person may not be able to tell the daughter the right thing, to be sincere. But when she's of age before she goes into marriage, she's prepared. And you know, some ladies, they have so much low self-esteem.
Esteem.
Why? Because they were forced into marriage. For the mother to be telling her that, then you know what she has passed through while growing up as a mother. In her journey in motherhood, the journey of motherhood. So a girl has to be matured before she goes into it. That's the social aspect. Then the economic aspect. A 16-year-old girl, 13, 12-year-old girl, 19, even 20, going into marriage may not be industrious enough. Those of us that were 20, in our late 20s before we got married, we faced it. Economic challenges. I was a youth corper when I got married. I was collecting 3,800. That was 1999. Later, I took in before I finished serving. I had to stay at home for some time. The challenges were there. My husband was the only one working. Till I had my 2 children. We had to send them to school based on my husband's income. And when the younger one, started school, I had to go and pick up a job as a teacher, which I did for many years. Now, I could handle this because I was matured enough. A young girl going into marriage, the husband may not have enough money to take care of her. Some men may borrow to pay bride price. Their family members may pay bride price for them. And some may even have enough money to do that. Getting into marriage, they may have challenges. And what happens to the girl? She may have another man that will tell her,
Okay.
I'm actually better. I'll take care of you more than your husband is.
Okay, now there are many challenges faced by the girl child. So many challenges faced by the girl child. Do you think the government is doing enough, ensuring that the advocacy concerning female gender discrimination be moved forward and also properly positioned?
The government is doing something, but I don't see it as being enough. I've seen Oyenka Onwenu. I've seen the FIDA president. You know about FIDA? The female lawyers. I've seen her talk. I've seen some other women, sex educators. I've seen them talk on this Point Blank, this program anchored by Siristoba, 10 to 11 on Tuesdays. I don't know if they still do it. After the network news, they used to do it. I've seen them talk about a lot they have done. But let's have more women. Someone told me, okay, you resigned as a teacher and you decided to go into some other things. I said, yes. The person said, doing business now, don't you think the most important thing you can do is to influence lives, build lives? If I can get 10 of you, the person talking to me is a grandpa. If I can get 10 of you, then I will talk to you. I will do some orientation, and I will ask you to go into this Ibadan land, and you will see what God will do through you. With that, I was gingered. Do you know UI has a record that in the past 5 years, they have not admitted a single child from the public school.
From the public school?
Yeah.
University of Ibadan?
Yes. Then I realized that all the boys and the girls that I've seen enter the University of Ibadan are all from private schools.
In the last 5 years?
Yes.
Was that deliberate, or do you think
No, is it backed up with
They
facts?
have, yes, backed up with facts. They are not able to meet the requirements.
Well, we have not independently verified that. We'll also look into that findings. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, let's go into the business world now. because where we have women in the organization, some will say women are the salt of of the earth. In the organization, we cannot but find women all around. But when it comes to leadership, everyone looks at the role of leadership. They look at it as masculine. That the one that can, really steer the ship of an organization should always be a man. Why is this a form of another discrimination? We are looking at it in the business world now.
Yeah.
Is it a form of discrimination that it must be a woman or it must rather be a man?
It is. It's a form of discrimination. We've seen that happen. The only female principal I had was faced with challenges. She is an iron lady too. And I can say she was a little bit rigid, but the men actually dealt with her. She had visions. Oh, she had things. She had dreams. But they didn't allow her to fulfill those dreams concerning the school.
They didn't allow
She
her.
had, yes.
Was she sent away? Or was she,
She wasn't sent
inconvenienced
away,
or otherwise?
but she gave up.
She gave up. There was no willpower to push
Yes,
further.
she gave up and she chose to go for a PhD.
Do you not think that is the reason they are saying that women may not be able to, handle the role of leadership the way man will rather handle it?
Yeah,
Based
the
on
woman
story
will
they
not.
brought.
The woman will not handle it the way men will handle it because the woman is different from the man.
So does that mean women are not fit to be leaders?
They are fit. If only we can agree and we look at things like, oh, this is a woman, so she's meant to handle it like a woman. This is a man, he's meant to handle it like a man. If we agree that way, then we allow the women to do it their own way
Do you know
and the
people-
men their own way.
People see this thing by virtue of, when they look at organization, saying that somebody who leads an organization, they look at it from the role of a man in the home. They said a man is the one who actually rules in the home. Is the breadwinner. So to now make a woman the breadwinner of an organization, people find it difficult. I'm not really particular about organization. Taking it to politics as well. We have
Taking
women,
it to the worship places.
yes. So we have
To the
women
church.
like Hillary Clinton. We have women who are actually running for becoming president of a particular country. We already have a president as the president of a country. So people see it as when they're given the opportunity, they mess it. But some say, no, look at the likes of so and so person. They did it well. So what
Thatcher.
is really
Look
the
at Margaret
problem?
Thatcher.
And how can we address this to make women properly fitting in the societal strata?
I don't like that word, properly fitting. You're talking as a man.
I'm a man.
Yeah. They can't do it your own way. They will do it their own way. I still maintain my stand. A woman can be emotional now, and the next moment, the woman is high in the spirit.
High in the spirit in what sense?
She's excited. She can be downcasted now. The next moment, she's high. She's very okay.
It
and
happens to man as well, but the ability to
does.
control these in an organization front is what really matters. And that is the reason people are finding it difficult to really align women in this particular role.
That is natural. But I will tell you, the woman, we always do it our own way. And the woman can be so tough. They call it a blue coat
Well, should the
government.
woman do it her own way or the professional way?
She will do it the professional way, but her own way. A
But
woman
what makes
is
you-
a
what makes you-
woman.
what makes you
A
think that
man is
there's
a
problem?
man.
What makes you think that the woman will not do it in a professional way, and also
She
in her own
will,
way?
but she's a woman.
Well, when I say professional way, and you say she's a woman, of course a man too does it in a professional way. We are
And
not
he's
trying
a
to
man.
be gender bias here. We
Yeah.
are only trying to see the differences that exist, that are bound between the dichotomy between women and man. So, people believe that, okay, men are also emotional. Men too can be emotional.
Yeah,
But-
but they tend to hide theirs.
They tend to hide theirs. Is that not
Yeah.
professional enough?
That's-
Is that not
that's-
mature enough?
Oh, it doesn't mean the woman is not mature. Should I tell you this? Maybe this will make you reason with me.
Okay.
Get a 20-year-old girl and get a 30-year-old man. Look at the maturity. The girl is equal to the man. 20, 30. And that is why a 40-year-old man can marry a 25-year-old lady and they will do well.
Well, I think my question has not really been answered, talking about the role of women in organization. Because when we have a business, we want to, at the end of the day, make profit. We want it to boom.
Okay.
We want to make the business survive. What are the roles of women in making an organization great? Leadership-wise or the other way around?
The roles of women. A woman is a mother. And why you are saying they are not professional enough is she will want to act like a mother everywhere. The young men in the society, in the organization, she wants to talk to them. Mama, I'm a mother. Listen to me. That's when she's okay. And when she thinks, oh, you are taking advantage of me, she wears that tough skin, and she'll behave as if, oh, I'm not moved. You are a man, but I'm still your boss. But the role of a woman, let her actually put herself in the position of her subordinates, if she's the one leading. And if she's the one that is the subordinate, let her put herself in the shoes of her leader.
But don't you think that the issue of the women leading in the office is it's a problem of perception?
It is. It's a problem of perception. You have some women doing it very well. Honest.
Now,
I saw the woman that was actually about 3 weeks ago that was almost giving up because she felt the men were giving her some problems. And I told her, you were not there, but number one rule that you gave was followed when you were not there. Number two, number three. And she said, are you sure? I said, yes. Those 3 rules were followed. People actually followed your rules when you were not there. And then she appreciated herself. And she said, okay, if some people are giving you problems, that means I can still continue.
Okay, let me quickly, before we wrap up this program, let's quickly look at this. Now, since we established the role of women in making a society great, should the legislators now make it their concern on gender-responsive legislation and policies across all areas, especially for adolescent girls who are disabled, vulnerable, and marginalized, and victims of trafficking and sexual exploitation?
What should the legislators do? There are laws that are guarding this. But I just find out that the lawmakers can be the lawbreakers. They are the ones that will say, don't do this. And when the people that are so close to them do it, that's when we start hearing things like immunity.
I don't think they have immunity. They are not in the executive power.
Let's get to the law courts. We see many things that are proven, and you wonder, where did they get these things from? And that is when, did you hear about the lady that killed her husband in Akubo here? Do you know, they said her face was covered in the law courts, that they did not let people see her face. And God forbid I do something like that. Do you think my face will be covered? Do you understand me? Talk of women that are doing this child trafficking, the women that are forcing girls to go into prostitution, they have the powers behind them. And that is why you can't get them easily.
So what do you think the government should do quickly in ensuring that our girls are safe?
What they should do, they should let the law that affects me, as Mrs. Salaladi, let it affect Opeyemi, let it affect Ibrahim. let it affect everybody. If we can do that, then everybody will know no one goes scot-free in this land, and things will work out. There are laws that are guiding these things. But just find out that some people, they go scot-free because their fathers, their mothers. Have you seen a guy that was caught as a cult member when we were in Futa? As peaceful as Futa seems to be. They said they were in the Senate deciding on what happens to the boy. And the man, Ile Mobade, of blessed memory, the same man that was kidnapped some time ago and was found dead in his garage. They said he received a phone call, and the man said, Albert, you know who's speaking? He said, yes, that boy is my boy. Watch what you do. And that was how it was.
But do you think we can win the battle against this gender discrimination?
We can. We can. Let's educate our girls. Let's tell them we are not asking you to liberate yourself, because I believe women were never in bondage. We are not in bondage. We won't preach women liberation, but we will tell them, have a good self-esteem. Let girls know you are not sexual objects. You are not objects of sexual appeal. You are not objects of advertisement. You are not objects of ridicule. Let them know you should have a good self-esteem, have a good relationship with the men, respect the men, and they will respect you.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. We've been speaking with Mrs. Alalade, Taiwo Alalade, the coordinator, APE1, your state, and thank you very much for always heeding to a call each time we invite you. Okay,
You're
the commitment
welcome.
by the global community to realizing the potential of adolescent girls will directly translate into the girls as powerful and positive change agents for their own empowerment, for advancing gender equality, and for the sustainable advancement of their nations. Let us support the girl child, business-wise. In every way, we can support them. Thank you for listening to us on Rise and Shine. Since we've started all day, we've been we are so grateful for you for always being there for us.
Yes, many thanks for joining us on today's edition of Rise and Shine. Join Modele and Tunde Idowu tomorrow for another edition of Rise and Shine. I am Opeyemi Ojabanja, wishing you the very best of the day.
And I'm Ibraheem Opeyemi. Have a lovely, enterprising Monday. Goodbye.